Arqam ibn Abi Arqam was somebody who was 17 years old when he came in contact with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and decided to become a Muslim. And at that time, the ummah was very small. When we speak of the ummah of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam at that time, which was the early Meccan period, before even the migration to Habasha, which happened in the 5th year of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's mission, we see that the ummah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was less than the people in this room. Because Sayyidina Umar bin al-Khattab, according to most reports, was the 40th person to take Shahada, the 40th person to join the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he became Muslim 6 years in the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's mission. So that means that for the first 6 years of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam preaching and giving da'wah, only less than 40 people followed him. But from amongst those 40 people was Arqam ibn Abi Arqam, who was 17 years old when he came to Rasulullah. And his father had passed away, and he had inherited a house from his father. And this house was near the mountain of Safa, when we think about Safa and Marwa, for those of us who've gone on Hajj or Umrah. And so, looking at the situation of the Muslims, where the Prophet ﷺ was trying to preach da'wah and trying to teach people the Quran and give people the message of Islam, but he was being persecuted and oppressed by the society at the time, Arqam ibn Abi Arqam's house that he had inherited was in a very strategic position, because it was near the mountain and it was hidden away from a lot of the sights of people. And so he came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and offered him that house. And he said, you can use this house, inshallah, to teach us the deen of Islam. And so that became the first meeting place for the Muslims. It was in that house that Sayyidina Umar bin al-Khattab took Shahada. It was in that house that Sayyidatina Aisha, the wife of the Prophet ﷺ, remembers her parents learning the Quran from Rasulullah ﷺ. And if we think about some of the early Sahaba, such as Sa'd and Sa'id and Talha and Zubair and Abdurrahman ibn Auf, the 10 Sahaba that were promised paradise, most of them took Shahada in that house and they learnt the deen in that house. And so we can see then that the fact that we are all Muslims today, an ummah of over 2 billion strong, that all began with the generous gesture and support of a 17-year-old boy. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam continued to preach his mission until the time when a delegation of people came to him and from a city called Yathrib. And this was the city in which his mother originated, and his father's mother also originated from this city. And so he had some kind of relationship with them, but when they came to him and they pledged allegiance to him. And they invited him to join them in their city. And the initial delegation was less than 12 people. And when the Prophet ﷺ saw their intention, he decided to choose an ambassador to teach them about Islam and prepare them before he would migrate to them. And who did he choose? He had the likes of Sayyidina Abu Bakr. He had the likes of Sayyidina Umar. He had the likes of Bilal. He had the likes of Uthman. He had the likes of Abdurrahman ibn Auf. He could have chosen anyone. But he looked at one Sahaba in particular whose name was Mus'ab.